The dragon's icy eyes met Adara's, and she ran to it and up its wing and threw her arms about it. She knew she had to hurry. The ice dragon looked smaller than she had ever seen it, and she understood what the heat of summer was doing to it. "Hurry, dragon," she whispered. "Take me away. Take me to the lands of always winter. We'll never come back here. Never. I'll build you the best castle of all and take care of you and ride you every day. Just take me away, dragon. Take me home with you." The ice dragon heard and understood. Its wide translucent wings unfolded and beat the air, and bitter arctic winds howled through the fields of summer. They rose, away from the cave, away from the river, above the forest, up and up. The ice dragon swung around to the north. Adara caught a glimpse of her father's farm, but it was very small and growing smaller. They turned their back to it and soared. Then a sound came to Adara's ears, an impossible sound, a sound that was too small and too far away for her to have ever heard it, especially above the beating of the ice dragon's wings. But she heard it nonetheless. She heard her father scream. Hot tears ran down her cheeks, and where they fell upon the ice dragon's back, they burned small pockmarks in the frost. Suddenly the cold beneath her hands was biting, and when she pulled one hand away, Adara saw the mark that it had made upon the dragon's neck. She was scared, but still she clung. "Turn back," she whispered. "Oh, please, dragon, take me back." She could not see the ice dragon's eyes, but she knew what they would look like. Its mouth opened, and a blue-white plume issued, a long cold streamer that hung in the air. It made no noise. Ice dragons are silent, but in her mind Adara heard the wild keening of its grief. "Please," she whispered once again, "help me." Her voice was thin and small. The ice dragon turned. The three dark dragons were outside the barn when Adara returned, feasting on the burned and blackened carcasses of her father's stock. One of the dragon riders was standing near them, leaning on his lance and prodding his dragon from time to time. He looked up when the cold gust of wind came shrieking across the field and shouted something, and sprinted for the black dragon. The beast tore a last hunk of meat from her father's horse, swallowed, and rose reluctantly into the air. The rider flailed his whip. Adara saw the door of the farmhouse burst open. The other two riders rushed out and ran for their dragons. One of them was struggling into his pants as he ran. He was bare-chested. The black dragon roared, and its fire came blazing up at them. Adara felt the searing of heat, and a shudder went through the ice dragon as the flames played along its belly. Then it craned its long neck around and fixed its baleful, empty eyes upon the enemy, and opened its frost-rimmed jaws. Out from among its icy teeth, its breath came streaming, and that breath was pale and cold. It touched the left wing of the coal black dragon beneath them, and the dark beast gave a shrill cry of pain. And when it beat its wings again, the frost-covered wing broke in two. Dragon and dragon rider began to fall. The ice dragon breathed again. They were frozen and dead before they hit the ground. The rust-colored dragon was flying at them, and the dragon the color of blood with its bare-chested rider. Adara's ears were filled with their angry roaring, and she could feel their hot breath around her, and see the air shimmering with heat, and smell the stink of sulfur. The two long swords of fire crossed in midair, but neither touched the ice dragon, though it shriveled in the heat, and water flew from it like rain whenever it beat its wings. The blood-colored dragon flew too close, and the breath of the ice dragon blasted the rider. His bare chest turned blue before Adara's eyes, and moisture condensed on him in an instant, covering him with frost. He screamed and died, and fell from his mount, though his harness remained behind, frozen to the neck of the dragon. The ice dragon closed on it, wings screaming the secret song of winter, and a blast of flame met a blast of cold. The ice dragon shuddered once again and twisted away, dripping. The other dragon died, but the last dragon rider was behind them now, the enemy in full armor on the dragon whose scales were the brown of rust. Adara screamed, and even as she did, the fire enveloped the ice dragon's wings. It was gone in less than an instant, but the wing was gone with it, melted, destroyed. The ice dragon's remaining wing beat wildly to slow its plunge, but it came to earth with an awful crash. Its legs shattered beneath it, and its wings snapped in two places, and the impact of the landing threw Adara from its back. She tumbled to the soft earth of the field, and rolled, and struggled up, bruised but whole. The ice dragon seemed very small now, and very broken. Its long neck sank wearily to the ground, and its head rested amid the wheat. The enemy dragon rider came swooping in, roaring with triumph. The dragon's eyes burned. The man flourished his lance and shouted. The ice dragon painfully raised its head once more, and made the only sound that Adara ever heard it make, a terrible thin cry full of melancholy, like the sound the north wind makes when it moves around the towers and battlements of the white castle that stands empty in the land of always winter. When the cry had faded, the ice dragon sent cold into the world one final time, a long, smoking, blue-white stream of cold that was full of snow and stillness and the end of all living things. The dragon rider flew right into it, still brandishing whip and lance. Adara watched him crash. Then she was running, away from the fields, back to the house, and her family within, running as fast as she could, running and panting, and crying all the while like a 7-year-old girl.